I am Tater Cat and welcome to my channel. Today we are playing The Letter. Previously, during career day, we saw Luke do something unexpectedly Luke-like. He told Kylie after she's like, I want to marry someone and become awesome. He's like, nah. You don't need to marry someone to be awesome. You can just be awesome. Because my wife was awesome before she met me. Yada yada yada. Things like that. And they were like, well, I saw your wife with that car one time. You shouldn't leave her out so much, making her wait, blah 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 things. And he's like, yo, my wife wasn't there. They're like, Before we know it, Kylie comes running up to us saying, oh, my friend, something. And so now we're going to go check up on her in the bathroom by ourselves, which I assume is not going to end well for us. But yeah, let us continue. Sometime before we made the turn down the hallway, Gia stopped sniffling and started singing a tune under her breath.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady.
Of course, she has to choose a creepy song. Probably to brace or calm herself, or maybe this is her way of preparing to pull her friends out of her sulk. It certainly reminds me of another person. I make no remarks on it, however. It's all part of growing up, they say. Let her learn. The door is slightly ajar when we get to it, and from inside, the sobs of a girl echo weakly, barely audible, even in this kind of hush. Her friend is a ghost, isn't she? She's been a ghost this entire time, hasn't she? Turns out, Kylie's not the only one upset about this. Despite the situation, a smile forms in my lips as I call out to her friend.
Hello? Hello there? You're Kylie's friend, aren't you?
I want to know why we're still in the hallway, though.
Melody, is it? She's looking for you.
I thought it was Takako. Children can be so amusing sometimes. Granted, they can be exasperating, especially around this age. But the endearing things about them outweigh those. All you need is enough level of patience.
Career day's about to start, too. You'll have to come out, or you're going to be really late for it. Miss Alice won't be happy if one of her kids isn't there. I heard she brought little gifts for everyone who'll behave. Don't you want to receive one?
However, her cries show no sign of abating. They only grow louder. Not close to a wail. Alarming regardless.
Are you okay?
Where we're standing, it sounds almost like she's in some kind of pain. And it's not impossible. They do that at times, hiding what ails them, for fear of reprimands. If it's like that, coaxing her out might be useless. It also makes sense why she chose the loo furthest from their classroom. Wasting no time, I gestured for Kylie to wait and ambled towards the door, calmly, so I don't alarm her. At the same time, a distinct sense of deja vu hits me. I've been in this position before, behind the door, with someone crying on the other side. My calls ignored, as their cries grow into a wail. Just this past week, actually. Even so, being in the same situation before doesn't bring any comfort. And putting up for the child beside me is a thick undercurrent of worry trickling into my stomach. I take one last breath Then I nudge the open door. Nudge open the door. It all happens in the span of a second. Oh, here we go. I don't make it past 2 steps into the room. Her cries abruptly stops. Should I get ready for a quick time event? Light footsteps shuffle behind me, coming to a halt at the door. My heart skips a beat. And when I turn,
Kylie?
great, she is a creepy ghost again.
Miss Pink? Miss Pink? Why didn't you help her?
My whole body becomes motionless at the sight of her, words catching in my throat and heart pounding rapidly against my chest. This Kylie, I'm sure of it. Yet nothing in the manner she speaks, or the way she tilts her head in question, carries the youthful, innocent vibe she always brings with her. As if I'm merely looking at a dead, hollow imitation of the child.
Can't you hear her? She's asking for your help.
But it's not those that trigger a memory. It's those chilling eyes, calling, beckoning.
Why won't you listen to her?
Because every time we do, she tries to kill us. All at once, the memory returns to me. The tide that has receded and now returns to shore with an overwhelming force, carrying the images of a simple moment from days ago, of a world passing by in a blur, and the features I can barely discern under the little light there was. Not even a week has passed. In this minute, while I keep my eyes trained on the child before me, they return with such an unbearable clarity. There are no horrid words. There are no horrid wounds this time. No blood streaming down a pale face. Thank heavens. Just lips contorted into a small, twisted smile. They brim with venom I never expected to ever see in a child, sending tiny pinpricks of dread crawling up my limbs and winding up my neck.
You're a bad person. People like you deserve to die.
Well, wow. I can't breathe. Those whispers and laughters again. Judging, mocking, taunting. Each scathing word rings sharp and true against my ears. My throat closes in. My whole body tenses. A chill settles at the tips of my fingers, every digit gone rigid from the cold. With every single draw of breath, any struggle for air or freedom, the coils wrapped around my body tighten, dragging me down. A gradual, torturous descent into another bottomless abyss.
Ow!
On. And on. And on. Until I lose touch with myself and the world.
Help me!
Until darkness claims me and, unexpectedly, a note. In the distance, a harsh and piercing, cutting through the thick stupor, and shattering the haze without warning.
Are you ladies done with your business here? I don't have all morning to wait for you two.
My eyes snap open, and the world shifts into place. With a raged gasp, ragged gasp. When I glance up, a different set of eyes greet me.
Are you okay, Miss Pink?
No anger. No vile hatred in them. Just pale. Just plain, sincere concern. Bit by bit, I become aware of my surroundings and myself as worms steadily slips back to me. I reached out for the nearby counter to steady myself. At some point, and my knuckles have gone white from how rigid my grip on it is. It's over now, yet the tension hasn't left my body. My heart still hammers hard against my chest in erratic rhythm, and my breathing still comes in short, shallow bursts. Before me, Kylie fumbles with her hands, utterly unsure of what to do to an adult in what's probably a laughable state.
Did you get sick? I'll call Tio, okay? Stay here and don't move.
No. No need. Just leave me alone.
Tio will know how to fix you. Oh, wait, okay?
I wish I could speak reassurance to her. I can't shake it off. The dread is there, twisting at my insides in anticipation of what? I am no longer sure. Pushing myself off the counter, I break off into a run, pushing off the anxious look Kylie gives me when I gently push her away on my way out, or the furrow in Luke's brows when I stumble into him outside. Whatever they both saw in my face, I care not to know. Bloody hell, I don't even understand what's happening anymore. October 27th. The tremors continue long after the last of my classes have ended. Although none of my students have commented on it, I caught a few sharing anxious glances every time a pen slips from my hand or my shoulders tense whenever called. How unusual it must be for them to see their normally composed Miss Gales become a bundle of nerves. Even the most boisterous ones have given me less grief today. You'd think being on my fourth cup of tea would provide any sort of comfort. Or is it the fifth? Or is this the fifth? Egad, why does something matter now? The fact that I can't easily shake it off this time should tell me something. The last time this happened, I passed it off as some lapse in my part after having been sick the week before.
And it is a natural conclusion.
Is it though? Those are just stories. A centuries-old lore passed by the locals to keep children in line. What place doesn't have those? One of my Dawes books even went as far as to describe them as a strong part of Isabella's culture. Tree giants, women who feed on unborn children straight from the mother's womb, or hell, there's even that story about a demon baby. All folklore, but never had a smidgen of truth in it. Most probably told to scare off the natives there back in the old days. Much like every other one in every other place. The world is more universal than people care to think. But looking at it from where I'm standing now, after staring right into the eyes of that woman, after all the things I've been hearing and feeling, perhaps there's really more to that bloody letter than some awful Halloween prank.
Perhaps Isabella's right all along.
Yeah, probably. A terrible thing, if true. Though, the thought doesn't linger long, thankfully. Soon, the ringing of my mobile takes my attention away from it. An unfamiliar name flashes before me once the screen lights up and my brows meet together. Marianne McCullough. Staring hard at the screen, I try to remember when I've entered this person on my contact list. It takes a moment, but when it clicks, my eyes zeroes in on the book lying wide open on my table. Loaned out from the library almost a week ago. I met the woman there by a sheer coincidence, a fellow history buff apparently. We were after the same book, but in the end, she'd given it to me under the condition that I call her once I'm done. To be honest, I've completely forgotten about it until now, and well, I haven't really taken a peek at it until today. Normally I'd be done with a whole volume of this size a few days after taking it out, about 1 or 2, depending on how busy I am. But finding a chance to sit down and read through it has been more difficult lately than I anticipated. One moment, I'm busy simply creating worksheets, attending a movie premiere. The next, then someone suddenly invited me out for one reason or another. Days later, a friend stops showing up in her flat right after worrying reports pop up in the local news. There simply isn't enough time to breathe and get a grip on things. I have been flipping through the pages of said book moments ago, though never really reading anything, and merely hoping for a distraction. To no avail. My phone goes out another ring, and this time, I do not hesitate to answer.
Marianne?
Hello! Here I was starting to wonder if it was a bad time to call. Is it?
No, not at all. I dismissed my last class a few minutes ago. I'm pretty much free for the rest of the afternoon. Unless something comes up. Is this about last time? The book?
Not really. I was hoping to ask you about some other thing.
Oh, sure. What about?
You grew up in this city, didn't you?
Oh, she's going to ask her about the story, huh? It's a peculiar question to ask someone you've just met, but I answer her nevertheless. Actually, that's one of the first things people ask me. Hey, you grew up around here? Are you from here? It's kind of a common thing. I'm more curious where she's heading with this by starting with that.
Born and raised. 3rd generation migrant. Why do you ask?
So, you must be familiar with the local lore. The, stories?
Quite. If I'm going to teach about history, I'd like to think I am, yeah? But a family friend would be a better person to ask. If you want, I can contact him for you.
No, let's just keep this thing between us, okay? It's nothing too big. Alright. I really don't know how else to put this without sounding a bit crazy. But things have been really, odd. Do you remember the mansion I mentioned back when we met? My current project?
In hindsight, I should have expected it to lead to this. She must not have lived here long, but she's just asking about this now. It didn't take a week with Isabella when she arrived, but that's Isabella, superstitious down to her last hair. Though, it won't be too far off to think Marianne has only started thinking about this recently. She's working on the damn house itself. I must admit, even I'm curious now, despite living here for so many years and having so many chances to look it up before.
The Ermengarde Mansion, yes?
Yes, that one. And, the thing is... Oh dear, this is a bad idea. You know what? Just forget I ever called you about this. It must have been the sunny weather. It's making me sick and see stupid things.
See?
No, wait. It's all right. I don't mind.
There's a moment's pause before she responds again. She's right in that. This is a silly thing to talk about, especially between what I assume 2 people who are pretty grounded on their beliefs with regards to these things. I won't blame her if she hesitates.
I can't believe I'm asking you about this.
It's fine. Why don't you just think of it as some form of research?
Well, all right. But after this, we're going to forget we ever had this talk.
My lips will be sealed. Now, what is it about the mansion?
Just, what do you know about it? The general gist. The place is past. What happened to the owners? Anything you can give me.
Let's see. To start off,
Wait, so like, what day does she fall into the tunnels? I can't remember. It's probably around here, right? Oh, this right. And I have something to blah blah blah. And then the 28th then? And today is the 27th, so after that is when she falls into the tunnel. I do my best to give her a concise summary from the time the house was commissioned 400 years ago and who had it built, up to the point it got deserted after the last heir's death, and the deed was passed on to Ermengarde's nearest relatives. Frankly, if it weren't for those urban legends persisting, the house would have already faded into obscurity long ago. Demolished even. These are nothing she probably hasn't heard of before, yet there's dissatisfaction in her tone once I finish.
That's all there really is to it?
as far as I know. There's this little bit I forgot to mention about Lady Charlotte Ermengarde's death, but most of those are just theories. Aside from that, this is really everything we've been teaching all these years.
Okay, yeah, but let's get into that part. Let's get into the theories. Let's get into the creepy parts of that.
Should there be anything more?
Yes, the creepy parts.
No mention of any other weird stuff? Other crazy stories?
Yeah, that's what she's really calling about, the crazy stories.
Or a letter of some sort?
My blood runs cold. Any warmth and comfort the tea I've drank has given me prior has instantly been drained out of me. The phone creaks softly as my light hold on it turns into a firm grip. This whole other bullshit is starting to turn into more than a coincidence.
None that I've heard or read of. What does a letter have to do with this?
Oh, no. It was just something I came across. Ignore it. Random thoughts, you know? By the way, I need to run. Thanks for answering my questions.
She ends the call abruptly, with only a clipped goodbye, leaving my mind heavy with even more thoughts. The mood around my classroom has gone considerably denser in the light of what I've gleaned from that conversation. Yep, this is the day before she falls into the thingy. Career day. After the strange encounter at the little girl's room, Rebecca tried to remain composed throughout her day. As her classes ended, she received a phone call from Marion McCullough, who asked unusual things about the Ermengarde Mansion. Yeah, I feel like Becca gets more journal entries than anybody so far. I don't think Marion's lying about her intent. Her intent is genuine. I give her that. But she's left a lot of things out. I get the sense she's only asked because something's happened around her too. And if she hadn't mentioned the letter, I probably wouldn't have made the connection.
Just what the hell did we get ourselves into?
Yeah, and you should go definitely apologize to Isabel for being a bitch. Of course, there's still a lot of confusing details in this. All of these are just assumptions. No concrete conclusions to be formed with what we have, and if we want to find out what we're really dealing with, I think Marion's right. There might be something more to those stories. As absurd as it sounds, the very place that gave us that letter might tell us something beyond what we know. And tomorrow night, I have a few hours of that chance at the housewarming party. Totally not an exciting thought. Since the place is privately owned now, I can't just wander around. But it's enough reason to keep the dread at bay as I step out of the room, ready to put an end to this day. However, all those good vibes disappear into thin air when I run headfirst into Luke. There's really something in this man. Regardless of how much my opinion of him has changed over the span of a few hours, he simply lasts through every good impression people have of him, without care or thought. He doesn't even need to open his mouth. His mere presence does it. In all honesty, I think he's the kind of guy who only a mother could love.
You're still here?
Obviously. Who do you think's standing in front of you?
An ass.
Oh, come on, Daisy. You've done better than that. Losing your touch?
Luke, I don't have time for this. I'm heading home, and your face is the last thing I want to see before I leave. What do you want?
Repeatedly, I noticed his hand, partly raised, almost poised for a knock. At a slight lift of an eyebrow, he quickly drops it to his side and turns to Kylie. She's standing a few steps away from him, holding her hands behind her back and toeing at something on the floor with the tip of her shoe. Then he proceeds to make vague gestures at me and then the child. He resembles a fish flopping for air with the way he's moving his arms, though I think he's trying to urge her to speak up.
Munchkin, I thought you wanted to tell her something.
You do it, Tio.
This wasn't my idea, darling.
Don't worry. I won't tell Tia what you told me the other day. And this morning.
Luke exhales, rolling his eyes at the ceiling, and maybe praying for the universe to grant him more patience. He knows a losing battle when he sees one. He may act worse than a 5-year-old throwing a tantrum at times, but he's no match for an actual child. Nothing better than being served a dose of his own medicine, huh? Once his frustration has been promptly let out, he points a rude finger at me. I do my best to stare the offending digit down, but I can already hear his demand before it's even out of his lips.
You, come with us.
What makes you think I will?
Because little Rugrat here is upset and worried, and it's your bloody fault. I've no idea what happened this morning, but if you don't come with us, I won't be hearing the end of it from her. So do me a favor, Daisy, and just be glad I'm inviting you.
You're asking for a favor, and you can't be bothered to be polite? I don't know. It's been a really busy day for me. I kind of miss my couch.
Daisy, you just say yes.
A pause follows, almost too dramatic. Afterward, his face twists into something between a grimace and a smile. As it happens, He appears like he's in a lot of physical pain. Do you think the man is getting an aneurysm by simply being polite?
Please?
Okay, we'll end this episode here. I am Tina Cat. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon.